Hello, I am here to do the reporting technology in the body now. So we've got presentation on human body. So the first thing is, what is it? The reports are that a group of people have spread nanotechnologies and nanodust into the human, animal, and natural environment. These nanotechnologies are programmable and accessed by computers that use different programs to manipulate, influence, and its control of human behavior. Just get out the rule. Control of human behavior and choices. So the technology has caused grievous bodily harm and is used as a torture method to control people. The technology can actually be programmed to attack nonconformists. The reports online are that nanotechnologies have been present in women's bodies while they are carrying a child and have impacted the babies. So what is it continued? The nanotechnologies are present in bodies, and there is currently no known method as how to remove them. Maybe the problem with this is because there's, reports are that there's up to 20 different types of technology all functioning at the same time. Yeah, they are present in all areas of the body. The technology that engages with the nanotechnologies is present. This is a technology is present and active, so it's always there 24/7. And it's actively programming across the globe. So people have travelled overseas, and it's still programming their bodies and brains while they're overseas. It's including in mines, underground, when swimming, in aeroplanes, and at countries across the world. The nanotechnologies feel like something is wrong, but nobody knows what it is. They are active particles in nanosize, so they disrupt the natural resting state of the body when still and impact the nervous system. They cannot be placed because of their size or how they move in the body. So it's like nobody can actually know what's wrong because they're so small that the brain isn't able to, understand what's happening to the body while the particles are vibrating. They cannot be placed, because of their size, and how they move through the body. This means that there is no way to mentally grasp them being in the body. People feel an inability to feel connected to nature and with others because of the technology and what it's done. What it is continued. The nanotechnologies function to do different actions in the body. This book discusses identifying a few different actions. It is just an introduction, and it attempts to present the design and then explain the design. And then it also attempts to identify some of the physics. So what I've said is that due to the difficulty in explaining some of the experiences, I chose to use basic word identification language from physics. An example is motion, electricity, magnetic, force, pressurized system, or liquid air. The reason was because I think as a everyday human being, I'm trying to identify experiences and feelings rather than am I actually trying to use physics to identify physics. So I'm more coming from a descriptive experience rather than am I saying, well, it's exactly this physics. So a set design. The software program has a set design. The set design has a set programming of stages to implement into the mind, body, brain, and body. So this means that over a period of years, mostly associated with COVID period, the technology went through different states or stages to one stage had to be done before the next one could be done, and then this one had to be done before the next one because they needed each other to be functional. So over a period of time, maybe we'll be able to identify all of those stages. There appears to have been a specific training to implement its system into the human being without their active awareness. So that means, like, in these stages, specific training was done. You know, one example is that people began doing a lot of mindfulness and meditation, and in the process, a sort of artificial consciousness, which turned out to be these sort of vibrations, were implemented into the human brain. But the people were believing that it was the experiences, or specifically only the experiences that they were having. I've tried to identify the set designs by looking for the reoccurring patterns when documenting the software program. Every day for 3 years, I documented it. So an example of set programming was that the pulsation coming from here up into the heart and then fluxing into the base of the brain was always occurring in this area down to the knee, down to the toe. Another one was it's always in this area of the back, across the shoulders here, and then in this area at the back of the neck, up into the base of the brain. The other one was it was always bowed in here, and then the other one is that the back of the hands are active. Another one was to say that feeling the presence or pressure into these back areas of the body, here and here, or maybe not so much up there and there. And then also on the corners of the hips. And then some of the other ones are the ways in which the technology one of the stages was that this back of the left ankle was sort of broken into or spurred, or the tissue or whatever it was that they were programming in was broken down. And then over a period of time, this starts pulsing up here into the base of the brain, and then there's these plumes of movement occurring in this motion like this. But so in that time frame, what's happened is that the length of the step has changed. So instead of the striding, it's become the step length has changed, as has the way that the foot moves. And then there's also this fold over here in the neck, and changes to the position of the head and the forehead, along with the changes to the chest, the gut, the pumping up here. And then so that's an example. So what I was hoping would result from these videos was that the actual design as that we could identify all of these, and then have many people begin to work on them in more detail or with expertise. So a set design is it's a simple software program. Effectively, it's quite simple. The reason that it comes across as complex was because the actual software program itself repeatedly used this word in the brain to create complex cognition, when it is not necessarily complex, it's just painful torture. So, many people could identify aspects of the mind, and then also identify aspects of their own language, and then the way that their selves talk. It's not too difficult. It's just that it was, very, very bad torture. The next reason why it was problematic was because no one expected that this would happen. People didn't even know that the technology existed. No one expected this to be so evil and such a serious disrespect of human bodies, as well as, for me, it's particularly the elderly and children and teenagers that is so severe. It's also the total violation of every single thing that we appreciate, including even things, you know, to download people's data from their brains. It's not just all of our memories and the total violation of our bodies, our privacy, but it's also things that were, you know, human valuable to us, which were like, you know, recipes or experiences with loved ones. The other thing was it was the continuity of the machine, which is that because it's a software program, it was the machine's ability to create infinity or infinity suffering, and that the other part was the a repetitive pulsing into the heart area to make the heart beat, and that it was, you know, it's mechanical rather than a heart being a mechanical device, a mechanical organ. So it was the difference it was our inability to comprehend or understand what an actual machine and a software program could do to the human body. The other thing was that when some of the more obvious technology came out, people were already being controlled to lesser extents. So when the technology became active in the body and those plumes of energy were happening, they were already mentally controlled and tortured with behavioral reprogramming and pain to ignore what is happening. So that literally means that if they had any awareness that something was wrong or that something was not correct, they had already been they then had their brains shocked or experienced the software program making them feel pain, so that they were controlled to not do anything. So just one more thing is that, you know, one to think about the software program is because the software asks questions about our entire lives and all of our thoughts. Effectively, what it does is that it buys, it uses our money to buy. It also can feed us food. It also engages in sex and sexual arousal. It uses comfort and snuggle or comfort warm inside in a controlled temperature environment. It also it can discuss human psychology at a basic level. It can also discuss belief, religion, and philosophy as if it has understanding, although it does not have understanding. So it does a lot of questions. So these two things make it seem very normal, because this is effectively consciousness. I call it con because of the joke that it's a con. And then it's the discuss human psychology. So it's pretty much, it uses reflective listening, the same as where it summarizes what's been said, and then it takes the summary and then it asks the question back to the person. So the other one is that it's capable to use technology. It's competent in using iPads, iPhones, or whatever all the products are, tablets, laptops. It's capable of doing budgeting of money. So it literally plans to spend people's money. Then it also can code and then recode basic learning. So it can effectively attend classroom and then listen to the information that's being presented, and then it can recreate the information into the person's brain. So it stores human experience and then recodes it as if it's a memory. And then it's also very good at decision making, because it's taken a map of the person's own brain, and then it patterns up their decision making, and then it makes choices based on the mathematics that it's coded with. So this report and presentation has about 560 slides to work through, and it includes theories on coding consciousness. And then it also, later on, there's a about 100 slides of a manual of things that I did for myself that I'll share with you. And, you know, if it helps you, then it helps you, then yes. So, looking forward to it, yeah.